I am constantly asking myself, what do I want to do when I grow up? And that's a continual process. I'm always on a journey of discovery, of exploration, of challenging myself with new things. And this is the career advice that has really been important for me because, like I mentioned, I've had a very varied career, and those transitions weren't always extremely smooth, and there was always some doubt and fear in those transitions, either from myself or from people around me saying, "Oh no, you're changing career again."
Welcome to a new episode of the IT Career Energizer podcast. I'm your host, Phil Burgess, and I'm delighted to be back with you after an extended break. And the show's returning in a somewhat accelerated manner. Although there haven't been any new episodes for a while, there is a bit of a backlog of episodes to release. I've therefore decided to release a new episode every day for the next couple of weeks. I really hope that you listen in and enjoy this condensed run of episodes and the stories and insights that my new guests have been sharing. Today's episode was recorded in August last year. My guest on the show was Anna Skoulikari, and at the time Anna was working as a technical writer at JetBrains. However, since the recording, Anna has changed roles at JetBrains and is now Internal Communications Project Manager, which just goes to demonstrate how quickly a career in tech can change. As well as learning about her career journey, you'll also hear us talk about Anna's Git Basics course, which has since moved to O'Reilly's online learning platform. It is also where her book, Learning Git, a hands-on and visual guide to the basics of Git, can be found. I'm sure you'll enjoy hearing Anna talk about her career, which is coming up right now. So Anna, welcome to the podcast. I'm delighted that you can join me.
Well, thanks for inviting me. I'm excited to be here.
So, Anna, it'd be good to get a bit of an understanding of your own career, maybe just a bit of a summary of how you started and where you are and what you're working on now.
So, I've had quite a varied career in tech. I started off working as a UX designer and then transitioned into development. So, worked as a front end developer. And right now, I'm working as a technical writer. And all of these transitions have been just me following my curiosity and trying to find the right spot for me within the tech space. And I'm also a tech educator. So, while I was a developer, I built an online course teaching Git. Git is a version control system. It's basically the main one that almost everyone uses. And then after I made that online course, I also decided to write a book. So my book, Teaching Git, it's called Learning Git, a hands-on and visual guide to the basics of Git, was published by O'Reilly a year ago. So those have been two massive creative projects that have also occurred during my tech career. So yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell. I've had a very varied journey in the tech space.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned your book because I was interested in that. So, how did that come about? Obviously, it's not the first thing people tend to do quite early in their career. So, why did you decide that you wanted to write a book?
Yeah, so the book obviously teaches Git, which is also what my online course taught. And what happened was I started working as a front end developer. And the way that I actually learned some of the basics of coding was I went to a coding boot camp. So that's a 3 to 4 month intensive education. And at that coding boot camp, they'd spent about an hour introducing Git. And for anyone that works with Git, they know that 1 hour is definitely not enough. And at the time during the boot camp, I was working just on projects on my own. So I was able to get by with the little that I knew. But once I started working at a company, um, and having to do more complex things with Git, I was terrified of it. And kept having to ask the senior developers to help me out because I was scared I was going to destroy our code base and our repository. And so I decided to conquer my fear. I just thought, you know what, let's go face this head on. And I started studying Git and understanding how it works. And then this interesting thing happened where a creative idea came to me of how I could teach Git using diagrams, visuals, and colors and storytelling in order to teach it in a more simple way. And at the time, I actually immediately wanted to write a book, but I felt like the barrier to entry to write a book was higher than the barrier to entry to make an online course. So I decided, you know what, let's make the online course first. And this way I can also just see, does the way that I teach Git even resonate with people? Does the way that I learn also match the way other people learn? So I made the online course, and at the time I uploaded it to Udemy, and then the reviews started coming in, and they were really positive, and people were saying, finally, somebody explaining Git in a simple way. Your diagrams help me so much. Your explanations help me so much. I also did some Git workshops as well. And so after all of that encouragement and all that kind of proof of concept, or, the user feedback, I finally decided, okay, let's write this book and let's make this happen. And writing a book is, it's a different format. It's a different journey. Um, and yeah, I made that book. I made that book happen. I really, really, I am also a writer in my personal life and in my professional life as well now. So writing came very naturally to me, and I can go into more details on how the book came about. But oh yeah.
Well, I was going to start by asking you about Udemy. So, do you know how many people have now taken your course?
Oh, that's a really good question. Um, I haven't looked at the back end. Uh, I will give you this information though. At the very start, I made my course free because there's hundreds of Git courses. And when there's courses that have, 10,000 students, nobody's going to go get the one that has 0 students. So I thought I'll make it free so that some people can do it and it can get the initial reviews. And this is kind of behind the scenes information, but I'm sure some bots got in there, because the number that's displayed on the course is like 6,000 or something, and it's not actually that many people that actually took the course. I think some bots got in there, but anyway, the actual number of people that have taken the course, I wouldn't actually know. I think it's 1,000 at this point. But I guess for me, it's also just about quality over quantity. The fact that the people that took it and with whom it really resonated liked it so much that they were keen on leaving a really detailed review.
Exactly. Well, that's great to hear. And in terms of the book as well, obviously that was the follow up to the courses you just explained.
Yeah.
So, how did you get involved with O'Reilly? How did that come about?
Yeah, so when first started exploring the idea of writing the book, I got to chat to someone that works in the technical book space, and they kind of told me, if you can get O'Reilly as your publisher, then you should definitely go with them because they are sort of the best in the space. I mean, I'm not gonna give any opinion on who's the best and who's the worst, but that was what I was told. So I just reached out to them immediately and filled out their book proposal. And I've actually spoken to my acquisitions editor since then and asked, how come you took me on as a first time author? Because O'Reilly usually doesn't take on first time authors. And basically, the response I got was, you were able to prove to us that you are able to teach this subject in a way that resonates with people. So I think because I had the online course and because I also had done the Git workshops, which had been recorded and were available on YouTube, and I was able to share those, I was just able to show, I do have, I found a methodology to teach this technology in a simple way, and people are responding to it. So I think that that was just it. It's like showing instead of just telling.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'll let you into a secret. I'm trying to get Tim O'Reilly onto the podcast. I've been trying for a while. So that will be interesting as well.
Amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've heard him on other podcasts and he's a really great guest. So I hope that journey goes you achieve that goal.
Thank you. Okay. So, Anna, can you maybe share with us a career tip, one that the audience may not be aware of and perhaps should be?
Yeah, I think the one career tip I would give is just figure out what works for you. I'm generally a bit skeptical about advice, and I think there's so much going advice out there. So I would say just figure out what works for you. So all the advice you hear, just see it as kind of a buffet of options, and then pick the items that actually resonate with you.
It's a good point. In terms of your own career, obviously you've explained how you progressed into your role. So, do you see that as an ongoing evolution of what you do? Do you see yourself doing something different maybe in a few years' time?
Definitely, I am constantly asking myself, what do I want to do when I grow up? And and that's a continual process. I'm always on a journey of discovery, of exploration, of challenging myself with new things. So, and this is the career advice that has really been important for me because, like I mentioned, I've had a very, very varied career, and those transitions weren't always extremely smooth, and there was always some doubt and fear in those transitions, either from myself or from people around me saying, "Oh no, you're changing career again."
Well, I mean, I hope you continue. Good, obviously the way you're doing things and the way you're progressing sounds like it's working for you.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Anna, can you share with us your worst IT career moment so far and what you learned from that?
This is going to relate right back to what we just said, but when I was making that transition from front end developer to technical writer, there were people in my life saying, you should continue being a developer. Developers have really good career tracks. And I guess there was also some fear inside me of, is it a bad idea to leave being a developer? But I knew deep down that it wasn't the right match for me. It wasn't the right space where I could thrive. And so that was a difficult period for me. And again, it taught me what I just said before, which is listen to your gut, figure out what works for you, figure out who you are, and stay true to your own path.
Yeah, that's good advice. Yes. Okay, now maybe moving away from your worst, could you maybe tell us about your career highlights so far?
I definitely think my career highlight is publishing my book and just working on my book. That it was a 2-year process. I regard it as my book baby. I spent so much time with it and nurtured it and iterated on it, and it was such a amazing creative project to actually realize and put into the world.
So my follow-up question to that would be, would you ever do it again?
Yes, yes, definitely. And I'm already working on my next creative book project on a admittedly completely different subject, but I love working on books. So yes, I would do it again 100 times.
Great, that's good to hear. And what excites you about the future of the tech industry and careers in this field?
That's a good question. I guess for me, the flexibility that careers in this field allow for, the fact that you can work remotely in some cases, um, asynchronous communication is kind of something that's often used in the tech space. So I feel like that allows for people that want to design their life in different ways to still be able to have a thriving career within this space. And it definitely works for me as I am an introvert, or I identify as an introvert. So the fact that I can work remotely and, still have an incredible career is, yeah, something that excites me.
Yeah, and it's something you presumably you want to continue to do.
Yes, I think it's the right match for me. I know that that's not for everyone, but yeah, for me, definitely.
Good. Just a quick interruption to remind you to follow or subscribe to the show in your podcast app. Every download and listen improves the show's discoverability. By subscribing and downloading, you'll be helping more people to develop successful careers in tech. And my thanks to you for being a listener. If you have any suggestions about things you'd like covered in the show, or potential guests, why not leave a comment or review? You may even get a shout out in a subsequent episode. We're going to go into the reveal round now. We're going to find out a little bit more about you and the way you think.
Hmm.
Are you ready for this?
Yes, ready.
So, what first attracted you to a career in IT?
Curiosity. I was so curious about how all these apps and websites that I was using were being built. So that's how I decided to do the coding boot camp and to learn to code.
And what is the best career advice you've ever received?
So this is a really good question because, to be honest, I haven't really received any career advice. I've mainly just consumed many podcasts um, with interviews and things like that, but I haven't really had many people in my life give me career advice. So I don't really know what to say to this question.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I mean, that makes the next question maybe more difficult.
Yeah.
But have you ever had any bad career advice?
So, relating to the previous one, I haven't had that much career advice, but I will say this. When I was I left my master's degree. I did it was a 2-year master's, and I left after 5 months because I felt like they were just kind of repeating the information. And I felt like I wanted to really gain life experience more rather than stay within the academic environment, or at least that felt like the right next step for me. And I remember I definitely faced a lot of resistance from the people running the program, where they said, "This is a huge mistake. You shouldn't be doing this." And looking back, I'm happy with the decisions I made. And the same thing happened when I was leaving my job as a developer. Again, my former boss said, I think you're making a huge mistake. This is going to look bad on your CV. It's going to make you look inconsistent. People won't want to hire you. And again, I feel like that was the right next step for my journey. So it wasn't necessarily career advice, but I guess they were kind of indirectly giving me their thought or their opinion on my journey. So yeah, that's
Yes,
kind of what I can say.
exactly. I think there's a famous story, isn't there, about Jeff Bezos,
Mm.
who did something very similar from his role. I think it might have been something like investment banking, but his boss was obviously advising him and say, Why would you leave? So why would you give this up and
Hmm.
go with a risk like you're talking about with Amazon? And of course, it was the right move for him, definitely.
Hmm.
If you were to begin your career again in today's world, what would you do?
I think in my case, I think it would just stay the same. I would make the same steps that I made. And I think people call it the butterfly effect of you don't know if you change one thing, how all the other things will change. So I'm happy with the journey that I've taken up until this point, and I would just keep it intact.
Perfect. And what career objectives are you currently focusing on?
So at the moment, I'm exploring kind of taking on a new challenge. I've been working as a technical writer for quite a few years now, and I think it's time for, my next adventure. I don't ever actually tell people what my next adventure is until I have actually done it. I like to talk more about what I have done rather than what I want to do, because also what I want to do often changes. So I don't want to be held accountable for things that I have not fully 100% committed and actually done. But I can say this: I am exploring some new routes, some new skills I want to develop.
Yes, maybe that's a trait of being an introvert.
Yeah, perhaps, perhaps.
And what's the number one non-technical skill that has helped you in your career so far?
Well, I'm a bit of a rebel with all these questions, but I feel like all my non-technical skills have helped me. I mean, communication, storytelling, organization,
Mhm.
empathy, they've all been so important in every aspect of how I navigated my journey. So I can't just pick one.
That's a fair answer. And what do you do to keep your own career energized?
I think what I do is tapping into my intuition and listening to my gut feeling about what I want to delve into next, and following my curiosity. So, seeing where that leads me and staying true to that, that keeps me excited, energized, and yeah, vibing on this journey.
And what do you do away from technology? Do you have any hobbies or things you do in your spare time?
Yes, I think away from technology, I'm usually to be found doing anything related to movement at the monkey bars by the nearest park, or doing handstands. I love my hand balancing practice, or being in nature, especially being close to the sea. I'm definitely someone that has a very close relationship with the sea, and yeah, those are my main
Good.
things.
And Anna, can you share with us a parting piece of career advice?
Um, my parting piece of career advice is figure out what works for you, and any advice that people give you, just take it as an option in the buffet of options that you can take on and apply to your own life, and take on as your own belief or narrative.
Good. Right. Anna, how can we find out more about you and connect with you?
So I'm the only Anna Skoulikari in this world. That's Anna, Anna, and then Skoulikari, Skoulikari. So if you just Google me, you'll find a bunch of links. My website is annaskoulikari.com. On LinkedIn, I'm Anna Skoulikari. And then LinkedIn and my website are the main places. I also have a Twitter, don't use it much, and don't really use much other social media, but perhaps that will change. So I would say whichever social media platform you use, just look up my name and maybe I'll come up. So yeah, I'd say that.
Anna, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. It's been great chatting with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
It really was a great pleasure to have Anna Skoulikari as a guest on the show. If you're interested in finding out more about Anna's Git Basics course, or her book Learning Git, a hands-on and visual guide to the basics of Git, you'll find a link to these two resources in the episode description in your podcast app. Since recording this episode, Anna decided to create a Substack, so you can reach Anna at annaskoulikari.substack.com. Don't forget to follow or subscribe to the show, and remember to join me for another great episode tomorrow. I look forward to catching you then.